Okay.
Slides.
Well, my brief introduction is somewhat not particularly brief, so you'll have to forgive me for that. My name is Cecil. I'm the Managing Director of Revolution Software. I actually wrote my first game in 1981 for the ZX81. It was a text adventure. I designed the packaging myself with Electroset. It looks absolutely awful. It was called Adventure B. And since then, I've worked for a number of publishers, US Gold and Activision. And then in 1990, I set up Revolution. And our objective was to write adventure games that leapfrogged games from a company called Sierra, who were writing games like King's Quest, which featured King Graham of Daventry and his exploits. And it was, frankly, a load of absolute nonsense. And we've been fairly successful. Our most popular brand, which is a game called Broken Sword, which some of you will know, we'll sell about 1 million copies or so, 500,000 at full price, 500,000 at budget. And one of the point about this talk is to explore how brands can come in. Oh, fantastic. Excellent. Thank you. I'm actually going to stand up for this one. Sorry to be so formal. Thank you. It's very formal, isn't it? So here you see the first game, Adventure B. Excellent. I love laser pointers. The reason I show this first screen is I think it's the only one without spelling mistakes on it. My spelling is truly appalling. And unfortunately, the programmers that actually programmed it, their spelling was even worse than mine. But then, this was our first game at Revolution, a game called Lure of the Temptress, which you can see that within sort of 10, 15 years, the difference was just quite extraordinary. The ZX81, at least unlike the ZX80, could think and display things at the same time. On the ZX80, because the memory, the RAM, and the ROM were the same, you'd switch in and out. It meant that it would display something, then it would go away and think, and it would blank the screen and use the same memory. I mean, it's really very, very basic. And then this is the first screen from our first game called Broken Sword, as I said. Quick introduction to the video games industry. This is a comparison between... Oh, I do beg your pardon. Right. Oh, I'm not doing very well here at all, am I? Here we go.
That's because they've loaded it on the ZX80.
I think that must be what it is. Here we go. Right. Here we have a comparison between the different industries. The video games industry is worth around about $25 billion globally, and that's about a third in Europe, a third in North America, and a third in Japan and the rest of the world. Here we have a comparison between the different industries. That's video games there. This is music. We're slightly smaller than the music industry. People got very excited. This is box office because they lauded, God, games are bigger than box office. Of course, that's or bigger than Hollywood, which, of course, was a load of absolute nonsense and was actually very unhelpful because if films were made on box office receipts, you'd never get anything at all. It's the sell-through on DVD rental that actually makes the industry as big as it is. But still, video games, computer games, are about a third of the size of the film industry, which I think is pretty exciting. In the UK, we're actually pretty good at writing games. Of the top 100 studios in the world, 29 are British, which I think is pretty impressive. And within Yorkshire, you have some pretty impressive companies as well. Four of the world's biggest studios are actually based in Yorkshire. And as Tony said yesterday, Yorkshire has brands. The UK has invented brands like Tomb Raider and Grand Theft Auto, which are some of the biggest in the world. And within Yorkshire, we have companies like Team 17 with Worms. We have Rockstar Leeds that wrote Grand Theft Auto on PSP, and of course Revolution's done Broken Sword. And I mean, really, the industry in the UK is a very, very exciting place to be. Computer games are bound by the requirements to return a profit on development costs. And development costs, at their lowest for a full-price mainstream game, is several £1 million. For the bigger games, it can get up to $10, $20 million. I mean, the budgets are huge. And we're absolutely driven by the requirement to deliver profit, but at the same time, the market loves innovation. So it's a very, very interesting dynamic. And we tread a path of aesthetic pragmatism. The aesthetics because people love change, they love new ideas, but the pragmatism in that we have to deliver a profit. We also have wonderfully loyal fans. Because this is a new medium, the people that support us are incredibly passionate. My God, they tell us when they don't like something, but when they do, they get really, really excited. And the amount of feedback that we get is quite extraordinary, but it's absolutely fueled by passion. And I think the strength of computer games is it has the ability to deliver a visceral thrill. And it's the visceral element that actually has been driving us up until quite recently. And it creates this visceral emotion that's so powerful that the BBC talk about a lost generation of 18 to 30-year-old males who just simply don't watch television anymore because video games can deliver the entertainment that they want in the way that television simply can't. Of course, my background is in interactive storytelling and adventure games, so my interest is more on the profound emotion, and this is something I think that we really are at the very beginning of, and there's so much potential. So as such, it's an incredible area to be working in, I'm sure you all agree. One of the reasons that the market continues to grow is that the demographic widens. And in particular, we sell what are called casual games now to anybody that has the time. So we have a lot of older people, a lot of women who previously didn't play games are coming in. A lot of the games are very simplistic. Here is a game called Bejeweled, where what you do is it's a puzzle game in which you have to get 3 jewels in a line. They disappear and it comes down, and you can compete online. Here's a game called Dynadash, which extraordinarily has been incredibly successful. It's like the sort of games that we were writing maybe 15, 20 years ago, but it's just come round in a circle. Things come round in circles. You know, it really is that case. And the frustrating thing, of course, is when you see people making the same mistakes, because 20 years ago they made exactly the same mistakes. It's a bit like the sort of Cassandra principle. But the amazing thing about Dynadash is it's about a waitress who gets, a pretty hard time. It's not in any way aspirational, and yet it appeals to women, to the casual games. And my belief is that it just happens to be a really good game. And my God, if somebody had actually thought about it and written something that was aspirational, it would be that much more successful. This is a very, very interesting little game from Korea called Kart Rider, but I'm going to come back to that in a moment because it has an amazing revenue model.